What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Coup Espresso, and welcome back to another video here today on the channel. This one is super special. Today, we're doing a little episode of the 5 things that changed, and yes, we still have one coming this Thursday as usual, but I figured we can't wait for this one. I mean, yesterday, I was fortunate enough to get a code from my good friends in Activision to have early access, if you want to put it that way, to Modern Warfare Remastered's campaign. So, I put up some videos, streamed it, you know the drill. I had a ton of fun and had an absolute blast, but being that I played it, you'd be surprised at how many differences I've found both in visual and in game senses. Now, it's not anything too drastic that would completely change the experience for you, so don't worry about that. It's going to be something that will keep you engaged in it and will definitely still be just as enthralling and just as gripping, even if not more so gripping than before. But also, we're not really going to be talking about the graphics here in this because graphically this game is incredibly better. I don't really want to focus too much on that, and we may bring it up here and there, but it's not going to be something that is a main centerpiece because I feel like it's more so implied with the remaster and clearly evident by the footage. So all that said, before we get too far into it, drop a like down below if you guys enjoyed this. Let's try and smash 301 likes here again with this for the original and so far the only 5 things that changed out there from Modern Warfare Remastered's campaign. As well, if you guys are new and like this series, we do it a lot here up on the channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date and you never miss a beat with any of the episodes. Thursdays are the normal 5 things episodes, but I may have a few Tuesday editions here of the campaign coming up on the horizon. But enough of all that, let's talk about the changes. First change we're going to be talking about here today is the way that you actually save a game. This one you might notice right away as it's in every single mission that you play, and within the campaign it's relatively frequent to see. So every time that you'll hit a checkpoint in the current remastered version, you'll notice that the rolling overlay that is triggered when you complete the objective will flash with checkpoint reached. What if I told you that that is not exactly what it used to be, that back in 2007 with the original version on Xbox 360, PS3, and PC, the game actually would reach an objective and you'd be notified of an automatic save by the overlay telling you explicitly, game saved. Not anything like checkpoint saved, it explicitly said, game saved. So the checkpoint reached is actually something that is relatively newer of a feature compared to the game back from 2007 and the original workings of COD 4. This was one of the working proportions that really brought the game up to speed, one of the things that Raven focused on here in bringing it into a more uniform feel for the campaign of Call of Duty in recent years. Other things bringing it up to speed that we mentioned previously were things like the scope renders, the dual scope rendering system on the snipers, and the creator class menus and other features alike here that we've seen changed in the last couple of years. As with most changes in-game though, this one isn't entirely game-changing or game-altering, but it's interesting to see that it came up to speed with slight alteration to the way it looks. The second change in this one here today deals with the mission, or rather interactable cutscene, of the Coup, since you don't really play anything other than just the ability to look around, but it's technically still a mission. But this mission was iconic for the brutality and the harsh nature that set up the story arc and the villainess of Khaled al-Assad. In the mission, you are from the point of view of President al-Fulani, and as I'm sure you've all seen the famous sequence where al-Assad executes Fulani in front of a national broadcast, the scene showcases various different things. In the original version, the Desert Eagle is handed over, and from there, the audio drowns out and you can hear a slow motion effect almost come into play. You hear the footsteps of al-Assad, your heartbeat, and not much else that leads up to the execution, and it goes a little something like this. Now, that's what we've all seen already from it, but the new remastered version is a tad bit different. There's a little bit more that is added to this, and it may be something that adds to the effect or ruins it for some people. It really is all personal preference, but in the remastered version, players will be able to hear a cinematic, dramatic build-up via music, heavy breathing, and then down to the Desert Eagle, a different noise for when it's cocked back, and as well as when the firing audio takes place, that is different as well. So that one goes a little bit something like this. Now, to me, that's quite intriguing to hear, but it's definitely something that I don't believe will be, at least in the guns term, something that stays. I think that'll be something that changed. As we mentioned, Raven has already said that they're going to be changing the Deagle as well as multiple other different weapon sounds, but what is nice is that even though this is still a full campaign download right now for the early access period of the campaign, there still can be changes made to it because it's only temporary. Players with it now will have to, upon launch, re-download it with Infinite Warfare. This will expire at the time of Infinite Warfare Warfare's launch, and then players just like the Black Ops 3 beta will have to get rid of this and then move over to the full game. So that part being said, changes then can be made on Raven's end for everything, multiplayer as well as campaign, for weapon sounds. So that's something that, again, won't really be in the main game, but I digress. It still is a change here that happened for this campaign. Number 3 on the list today belongs to the radio sequences in the campaign. Now, these are a bit of a minor change. These are more so in the way that we hear them. None of the audio is actually changed up from at least what I've heard, like as in audio quotes, but what is intriguing is the way that they come across the comms. The audio has been updated to a more authentic sound via communications, and the compression has been increased on every radio quote. Whether it's the comms from the AC-130 mission, the headpieces used in All Gilly Up, or anywhere in particular, this is something that has been changed across the board.
10 seconds. Radio check. Go to secure channel. Lock and load. Green light. Go, go, go.
That's some bloody convention out there. Get ready to move on my signal. Stay right behind me.
The audio quotes that did stay the same were the ones that were said in person. The ones that you'll immediately hear in missions such as FNG and earlier missions, and missions where there is nothing blocking the standard face of our character models. Anything that is supposed to be a radio or some other sort of frequency that carries communication, it has been so tightly changed to replicate real radio transmission. So once again, nothing game-changing, but I found it neat because as an audio guy and somebody who's worked with audio nearly their whole lives, it was something that just caught my ear and I felt like sharing. So number 4 though today goes to the countdown timers, or I suppose, well, the count up timers as well, because these were changed in the remastered version of Modern Warfare as well. Modern Warfare was known for its simplicity, yes, but the game definitely could have had a little bit better placing and design work with some items if you ask me. One such thing being the timers in-game. Throughout the campaign, there were various few timers in the missions that you'll need to complete an objective like rescue the pilot in Shock and Awe or your timer in FMG. They weren't often there, and honestly they were only there for a small percentage of the game overall, but the time trials definitely resonated with some of the community and stuck with them. Honestly, a lot of people really remember the things such as FNG because it is such a time trial and things alike. So instead of the former locations of the right-hand side and the simple timer, which was the standard Bank Gothic font, instead, Modern Warfare Remastered features a little bit of a graphical change to this, the timer's placing as well as design also. This is now placed in the front and center of the screen, but at the top of the screen, so visible but not in the way. Though the former wasn't in the way too much before, this is one that I think is even more so out of the way and compressed down a little bit, so as well as saving space, I think it looks a lot better in terms of the design overall. So I'm a huge fan of this one, I quite like this, and definitely I think is a nice little subtle change. Now the 5th and final change in this episode is perhaps my favorite that we'll cover, just because I think that it's been such a stunning visual back then in 2007, and then Raven totally hit the nail on the head here with this one, and took that visual and made it even more stunning graphically and then some changes wise as well. Now I know I said I wasn't going to focus too much on the graphics, but honestly, this scene is probably one of the most stunning visually in the entire campaign. There are so much cool things about the graphics in this game, such as like the water on the weapons that just sticks there and it's just an ambient texture on it, but this scene in particular just is mind-blowing, I think. So this one we're going to be talking about Aftermath, the sequence of events in which you are in the eyes of Sergeant Paul Jackson and you crawl out of that helicopter and witness the crash site, and with the mushroom cloud, the characters, the scenery, all of it right before your character eventually dies. There are, believe it or not, multiple changes that have been made in this sequence alone, only about 30 seconds, and we can see a couple of them here, so we'll just crush these all into one. Firstly, the perhaps most noticeable change is that there is a soldier walking towards the blast right before he finally collapses. That was never in the original. The only people that were there were dead bodies or people coughing up blood or whatever you want to think of it as. There weren't too many to begin with, but then you add in with this remastered a visible person that is still alive and trying to get out of there. Personally thinking about it, I think it demeans a little bit of the radio message initially as well, because the comms in the helicopter noticed that Jackson was alive and moving, and they called for something over the radio if you ever actually listen to the radio quite closely. So it kind of demeans that, I guess, because he's not the only survivor at this point that's walking around, but he does end up stumbling and falling down to his death. But then the next thing is that the highway signs are better depicted, and they don't actually say what they did in the original. Instead of the one saying Autostrad, it simply says highway now. And the final thing that I want to mention here with this one is perhaps one of the biggest, is that we have no sequences of Jackson stumbling. In the original, Jackson crawls out, and once he crawls out, he'll fall onto the ground, but then he eventually stumbles up into a crouching position where he walks around a little bit before collapsing to his final death. From there, in the remastered versions, he does not stumble at all. He falls out of the helicopter by crawling out, and then he's there the whole time crawling out before eventually collapsing. So it's something that is a very minute change, but it doesn't offer as much in the way of, say, movability or mobility. So that said, it's just something I thought was very intriguing as well. I thought this sequence was just ridiculous. There's a bunch of changes here in this one alone, but that is gonna wrap it up here today, ladies and gentlemen. That is gonna do it for this 5 things that changed, a special Modern Warfare Remastered campaign edition here. So if you guys did enjoy and you guys could be so kind as to drop a like down below, smash this, try and share it around with as many people as you can. This one definitely was a ton of fun. I got some more ones if you guys are interested here with this. A couple more changes within the campaign that I think you guys would be interested if you want to see more. But that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Are you guys happy with these changes, upset with any of them? Whatever it may be, I'd love to hear your thoughts down there. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. The 5 things that changed returns every single Thursday here on the channel. We got episodes planned for quite a while, so don't worry, we got a lot of stuff coming. So if you enjoy this, make sure you subscribe, and of course, thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine has been Nikolai Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace. I love Modern Warfare Remastered. It's so awesome.